Welcome back to Nightmind, friends. Happy Memorial Day. Is that a weird thing for me to say of all people? Or creatures? On Nightmind Live, I salute the flag often enough. I get to show up on Memorial Day and give you a family barbecue boredom buster. And today, honestly, I wanted to celebrate jogging memory, because things I'd lost to time in my uploads resurfaced, and it's about time I just gave them out. Way back when I started Nightmind, I covered the Adult Swim infomercials by Wham City Comedy that came before the massive one, This House Has People in It. There was one single infomercial I did not give an explanation video to, though. For everybody to see. Live Forever As You Are Now Explained is a video I made in December of 2019, and I'd say 5 years and some months is long enough to turn a Patreon exclusive treat into a fun video for everyone, right? Yeah, to set it free on Memorial Day to celebrate the freedom of this video being released, your freedom to view. Do you understand? Do you get it? Do you get the theming? Okay, cool. And to up the enjoyment factor, I did something fun. I re-recorded my script verbatim. Because yeah, 2019 Nick does sound a few levels behind 2025 Nick, and I'd rather treat you to a good listening experience for the only Wham City Adult Swim piece I've kept in the bonus area. So, without further ado, let's celebrate our memories of journeys into one of the first territories Nightmind explored after Marble Hornets, the dark comedic genius of Wham City Comedy. Before we begin, I do have to mention that this infomercial had an associated website, much in the vein of other AB video projects. It didn't hold a ton in the way of clues, if I remember correctly. At the very least, when it was online, it just provided hints that backed up what you could already figure out from the special. As for the special itself, if you haven't seen this already, I do suggest taking a moment to do so. It can be found just by searching Live Forever As You Are Now on YouTube, hosted on the Adult Swim channel. This piece came out on December 24, 2013. Yeah, really, about 4 AM on Christmas Eve was when AB Video and Wham City first broke into the Adult Swim atmosphere. Merry Christmas indeed. We're coming up on the 6th anniversary of this infomercial now. 2025, Nick, it is much more than the 6th anniversary. It's been over 10 years now. Wow, cool. Anyway, assuming you've done your duty and watched Live Forever As You Are Now, let's head into it, shall we? Alan Resnick appears as a character version of himself, who is a hot young tech wizard, revolutionizing the industry in the way tabloids all used to praise potential Silicon Valley wonderkins. We're about to sit down for an exclusive seminar about his new product and how it benefits the world.
Are you ready to live forever, you guys? My name is Alan Resnick, and I'm so excited to be here. I found the secret to eternal life, and I found it on my Lapbook Pro. Now, you're looking at me and you're saying, Alan, you are so smart, you are so small. What is your origin tale? Well, it all started 2 years ago. Me and Janet were having a bit of a lover's quarrel, and she's got me sleeping on the couch. Now, I don't mind, I'm fine with it, I'm snoozing, and I'm having a dream. I'm in a foggy meadow, and in the distance, I hear a voice calling me, Alan, Alan, just like that. And the fog clears to reveal a beautiful, nude woman. And she's saying, Alan, I'm ready for you, put your dirt in me. And I'm thinking, whoa, hold on a minute. I'm in enough trouble with the wife as it is, this is the last thing I need, but I do it anyways. And right as I'm about to seal the deal, out of nowhere, I get shot with a gun, and it completely destroyed my face. And that's how I got my fantastic idea. What if I could back myself up like my best favorite MP3 file?
So that was a peculiar origin story, but if you think it's here for a good reason, you're absolutely right. Let's review those facts quickly, okay? 2 years ago, he and his wife Janet were having a lover's quarrel that had him sleeping on the couch. He has a dream of finding a new partner, but then Ben O'Brien appears to shoot him, as Ben O'Brien is known to do when the air gets foggy. That moment, losing his face, made him think about how to preserve a person, like a file backup. 2 months later, Alan succeeded in his vision, creating a copy of himself that named itself Teddy. Alan moves on with the 4-step program for making a digital backup of oneself. As he explains, Teddy interrupts.
Now hang up those drawings all over your house to remind you of what you did in the bathroom.
I love my wife. She is nice. My name is Teddy.
Alan ignores this and presses on, describing the digital mock-up step, and then asks Teddy what he thinks, followed by a very important segment.
It captures every wrinkle, every tear. After all, it's our imperfections that make us human, right, Teddy?
I am sorry, Alan. I didn't understand what you just said. Please clarify statement.
I said it's our imperfections.
Imperfection. To not be perfect. Defect. Flaw. Deformation. Ha 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 ha.
Okay. Have you ever gone over to your girlfriend's house and she's covered her face in disgusting makeup, and you find out that all of a sudden you don't love her anymore? It's not her fault, it's not your fault, it's actually science. See, she didn't know it at the time, but she had just destroyed that natural, luminescent quality that makes a woman beautiful. Beautiful. Like a grape or a candle. Now that's a property called the uncanny valley. The uncanny valley states that when a non-human object begins to appear more human, it starts to get really cute. To a point. And then it becomes creepy. Blech.
I love my beautiful wife.
It's like this. Imagine I'm jogging, and I love to jog, so I'm jogging. And out of nowhere, damn it! I stubbed my toe on a rock. On an ugly rock. But hey, I got my pen here. Maybe I'll draw two eyes on the rock, and now all of a sudden, whoa! This rock's looking kind of cute. I'm starting to like this rock. What if I draw a nose and a mouth on the rock, and now all of a sudden, whoa! This is the cutest rock I've ever seen. I can't believe I'm falling in love with a stone. And then you're gonna wanna coat the rock in skin and flesh and... Ooh, uncanny valley. Your rock fell down into the uncanny valley. It's down here with moving corpses, and this is where your girlfriend lives, and we're gonna try to hop on over and land on the other side with a believable human with real skin and flesh.
Okay, did you catch that last segment? Listen very closely to what's being said.
Your rock fell down into the uncanny valley. It's down here with moving corpses, and this is where your girlfriend lives, and we're gonna try to hop on over and land on the other side with a believable human with real skin and flesh.
Did you hear it? Listen out for what Teddy says.
And this is where your girlfriend lives, and we're gonna try to hop on over.
As soon as Alan says, "This is where your girlfriend lives," Teddy corrects him, saying, "wife." Now remember, Teddy is an exact replica of Alan, who has been fed all of the facts about his personality and memories. In this instance, they're talking about the uncanny valley. And what was the prelude to something becoming uncanny and getting dropped like a rock?
Okay. Have you ever gone over to your girlfriend's house and she's covered her face in disgusting makeup, and you find out that all of a sudden you don't love her anymore? It's not her fault, it's not your fault, it's actually science. See, she didn't know it at the time, but she had just destroyed that natural, luminescent quality that makes a woman beautiful. Beautiful. Like a grape or a candle. Now that's a property called the uncanny valley.
I think a good amount of you will understand what's being hinted at right here, courtesy of Teddy. But let's keep collecting evidence.
Skin stress. Skin stress tests. I put every avatar I make through a variety of intensive skin stress tests. I do ball test. Yes, I have wiggle test. Whoever said I didn't have wiggle test was lying. I shake up those avatars, and last but not least, we have durability and tear testing. Because the last thing you want is your avatar's skin to rip or tear when you're trying to chat about your day.
Do I get to see my wife?
Don't.
Are you seeing the big picture? Teddy keeps embarrassing Alan because he's an accidentally truthful representation of what's really going on with him, and the truth Alan doesn't want shared is about his wife.
So now my avatar doesn't just look like me, he also thinks like me. Here, I'll prove it. Hey, Teddy, when I do pasta, do I do spinny or bow tie?
My wife has hair.
Teddy, thank you so much for helping me share this message tonight.
You are welcome, Alan.
You're my only son, and I built you in my image. I love you, Teddy.
I love my wife. This is my wife. It is so nice to spend every day with your best friend. She is nice, and she is pretty too.
What you're doing makes no sense, and it breaks my heart.
And looks aren't everything, but It's nice to have a total package. And my wife is nice and pretty.
He's his
And
own
we
guy,
get
so
along well.
he just, it's fine.
Some nights
I'm not mad. I think it's actually
I am
kind of
sad.
manipulative,
My wife.
but it's disappointing too. So it's like whatever. These things happen. I'm just
And
moving
I am
on.
always happy.
This, Teddy argues, is his beautiful wife. A massive floating, indestructible skin, which we know Alan was hyper-focused on creating for the avatars. The man came up with this idea when he was on the rocks with his wife, Janet. During the presentation on the Uncanny Valley, Teddy relates the ugly girlfriend to a wife. Now, what did Alan say earlier about the girlfriend metaphor?
Okay. Have you ever gone over to your girlfriend's house and she's covered her face in disgusting makeup and you find out that all of a sudden you don't love her anymore? It's not her fault, it's not your fault, it's actually science. See, she didn't know it at the time, but she had just destroyed that natural, luminescent quality that makes a woman beautiful. Beautiful. Like a grape or a candle. Now that's a property called the uncanny valley.
Still not seeing it? How about the origin of the project, Live Forever As You Are Now?
Out of nowhere, I get shot with a gun, and it completely destroyed my face. And that's how I got my fantastic idea. What if I could back myself up like my best favorite MP3 file?
Alan's face is destroyed in the dream, permanently scarred. His focus wasn't on dying by the gunshot. It was on having his face ruined. Like the face of a girlfriend with natural, perfect skin who puts on ugly makeup. Or a wife. Live Forever As You Are Now is all about Alan's secret hang-up over his overwhelming obsession with natural, perfect, unmarred skin. And he wants to preserve people as they are now, at their best, with their avatar skin being perfect. The imperfect object, the uncanny valley rock, ends up at the bottom of a hill in the woods, where your girlfriend lives, like a moving corpse. Wife, Teddy said. The final nail in the coffin comes from Teddy's presentation at the end, showing the perfect floating orb of skin as his beautiful wife. This is the big confession moment Alan denies. This is the major statement of the piece under all the tech wonderkin parody. But what's even darker is the insinuation. Alan may have been so disturbed over the loss of his wife's perfect image in his eyes, her perfect, lovely skin, that he killed her and left her body in the woods. We don't have quite enough evidence to prove that, but we know for certain that he was a dangerously obsessed man. By the way, the Easter egg to Alan tutorial comes when he mentions the question about covering your hand in old glue. There's a moment in Alan tutorial when he does precisely that. The video, How to Clean Off Elephant Sugar Glue, and a piece of paper he gets stuck to his hands is actually part of the script for Live Forever As You Are Now. And there you have it. That's the underlying plot to Live Forever for you. Again, we don't know for sure that Alan actually killed Janet, but we know for sure the guy's disturbed, and that's what led him to develop this tech in the first place, which is itself a statement on the ludicrous nature of some internet-age inventors. I hope you've enjoyed this journey looking back at AB Video Solutions' first foray into the Adult Swim pool. I know lately they've been going hardcore on Adult Swim's live streams, but I'm holding out hope we'll get another late-night dose of crazy art from them sometime soon. Oh, rest in peace to Adult Swim's live streams, actually. And I'm still actually holding out hope that Adult Swim gives us anything like Wham City Comedy used to sometime soon. Casper Kelly's been doing great with the Yule Log movies, but I want more viral, fucked up short films for us to pull apart and obsess over. And you know what? Today's a day for eating too much. So do you want a little more stuff that Patreon alone got a while back? I don't necessarily have the time to redo the audio for these next tidbits, but they are fun examples of little projects online engaging storytelling in the horror vein with quirky humor. Go on, call it a second helping and a touch of dessert on top. Alright everybody, gather round because tonight I have something fun and a little bit different for you. Just kidding. I always have something different for you, don't I? That was a little redundant. This, however, truly is something a bit different and I think you'll love it. We've seen a few breakaway hits on Twitter for storytelling purposes and immersive fiction projects, but I haven't caught on to any that makes me laugh and compelled to keep watching and sharing as much as this newcomer, Fear. Fear? Fear. Fear. Okay, however it's pronounced, you'll know almost instantly what this is from the logo alone. Fear is a parody Twitter account of IKEA, the furniture retailer, specializing in products that are bold, modern, and horrific. Fear came online in December of 2019. They're located in several places around the US presumably, and also, they are in the room with you. The building, you might notice, is also constantly covered in fog and guarded by a Lovecraftian creature. Going back to their first tweets, we can see how the general setup and activity of the Twitter account goes. Fear posts a product image, shares a witty brand account slugline, and carries on with its business. Protect your home this winter against them. The protective range of pendants and talismans now in stock. Planning a party? The new Fear vibrant home decoration range now available in all stores countrywide. The first image is obvious in what it's offering. The other takes a touch of intuitive thinking for anybody who hasn't established a kill room before. It's okay, everyone has a first time eventually, I promise. Moving on, we have corporation info tweets pertaining to how to join the team and how to acquire a delicious finger bun treat in the food court, made with 100% organic finger. And if you end up buying those kill room supplies, the Scrubba soap dispenser should help get the blood off your hands. From here, Fear offers products that work as advertisements and games for the viewer. Can you guess which horror realm the item came from? The first is this adorable snarling dog plush, Cujo. It might be safe to guess the teeth are real and also what the property is that it's referencing. Next is one that I instantly loved, the bright lighting strip and Navidson measuring tape. You'll always play to my heart with clever House of Leaves references. Another excellent deep cut reference I enjoy is this one, the Shug-Off flashlight, for seeing a certain eldritch creature advertised as being part of the Elder range of products. Occasionally, you'll get multiple items in one shot like we have here. Not even internet horror or internet horror jokes are left out. Here's the Sorry John lasagna tray with an ominous and recognizable monstrous version of Garfield in the background. Fear also seems to be having fun with sharing clips from its security cameras over Christmas Eve. It's not Santa Claus, but it is a whole lot of something. Sometimes Fear will throw out really deep-cut references, like they did with this one. It's the finger from a Stephen King short story, The Moving Finger. Junji Ito fans will appreciate this one. Human-shaped holes have appeared on the side of the warehouse of our Amigara store. They appear to be in the exact shapes of the employees who work there. You could say those holes were made for them. Occasionally, you'll receive store information tweets like this one from December 30th. Customer announcement. Shoppers approaching the warehouse level are advised to take along a small handful of sweets just in case they encounter the boy. Thank you. January 4th brought this gem. Something strange has been happening in the kids' soft play ball pit. Strange voices, long arms, and an extant smell of rot. Customers are urged to keep their children away. One of the most recent tweets from January 11th is a creepypasta reference, the Russian sleep experiment. And most exciting is the January 9th announcement of an employee training video coming soon. But perhaps what is most significant is the exchange that took place on December 26th. Fear wrote, "We can't turn off the Fear radio station. The studio booth is dark and the door is locked. Don't listen to what it says. It's lying to you." Since I saw they were active, I took a moment to knock on their door here and asked if they'd like any promotions with interdimensional demon cats, such as I. The response was, way more than anticipated. Absolutely, thank you. We always need new suppliers for Hellcats. The breeders never last long. So, I guess I'll be following in my mother's footsteps after all. I wanted to wait until I was older to start spawning a legion of my own monstrous children, to tell you the truth, but I received an email this morning with a location and time to report to the official Fear breeding stocks, where they've apparently already got accommodations for my kind set up. That's kind of scary. But the figures they've quoted for my time are a hell of a deal. And hey, if you end up adopting one of my kids on a visit to your local Fear in the future, send me a picture and do take care of them, alright? That's all for now on Fear. Their Twitter handle is @FearShop6. That's F-E-R Shop6. And I highly encourage following. Even if this doesn't expand out into some kind of story or a multimedia thing, it's just a lot of fun to see show up on your Twitter timeline and a very creative use of the platform. So once in a while, we receive experiences that are clearly backed by studios or companies of some kind. I think that's fair enough to acknowledge after everything that just happened with Eroda, right? But these projects can be fun and hype up some pretty cool things. One of the projects I'm aware of right now is Who is the Bunny? This game takes place across Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and Bunny's personal website, and makes no secret of being a game, advertising outright that you can message the Facebook page to get into Clue 1, although that might be a storyline twist. More on that later. Bunny appeared back in July of 2019, making a splash with the statement, "I'm coming for you," and an indication that she'd arrive at San Diego Comic-Con. This was followed up in August with promo pictures pushing the question, who is the bunny? It was during September that curious onlookers received a hint that there would be some sort of puzzle solving here, with a tweet saying, Instagram is at almost 5K, first clue is right around the corner. Heading over to Instagram and scrolling through pictures, you'll find it. Congratulations, you found clue 1. Are you ready to go down the rabbit hole? First carrot is a riddle. The latest fashions are all you need. The answer you seek is on this feed. Early to bed, early to rise. You'll find the second carrot in my eyes. Looking around, we have some large photos made up of smaller entries, and this section containing Bunny's eyes gives us the reward. A second carrot, one for each ear. You've asked for my name, I've written it here. The first 3 letters of my name. Now, follow the bird that's bright and blue. Listen to it tweet to find your next clue. Everybody knows how I feel about binary code, but putting that aside for a second, the solution is Max. Let's hold on to that and go to Twitter for clue 3. I see you're starting to get into the game. Here are the letters needed to complete my name. 9, 14, 5. That is very standard alphanumeric coding for the letters I-N-E. First name is Maxine. Second clue alludes to Facebook, so let's go looking around. And going through the photo album, we get what we're after. Welcome to the 4th carrot. You've been searching for days. You'll find that the bunny's last name begins with an H. I'll help you all out of this haze. The bunny's last name rhymes with raise. If you found all 4 carrots, go check out this page. Seems simple enough so far with all these clues. The page offered is guarded by a password, which is the bunny's name, Maxine Hayes. Once entered, we're provided with this video.
Oh, hello. I was beginning to think you couldn't find me. Look, I need a team who's ready to unlock the truth. You've earned my trust. Use these files to uncover what you can from my past. Together, we can take control of the future.
Nice bit of character introduction. We get even more in the form of secret documents, which tell us about the bunny's background. Maxine Hayes was a specialized skills officer serving deep cover operations. A really great spy, basically. There's a list of major operations that she was a part of, ending with Operation Sleeping Dragon, which resulted in the apparent death of Maxine, but it's unclear if her body was discovered, and there aren't any records on the operation anywhere else. Back on the social media front, we see Bunny visiting more conventions and some photos from places like Hong Kong, apparently continuing with missions that she's been taking on across the world. She later provides this video on Instagram, asking, "Can you help identify this man?" Now, there isn't immediately any lead to help us figure out who this is, but maybe one will occur if we dig around. When you go to the Facebook page for Bunny, you are encouraged to use the messenger feature. It pops up automatically saying, "Hi, welcome to Arena Industries. I'm Hermes, an artificial intelligence messenger just for you. How can I make your day better?" I asked a couple of keywords to see if there would be a response, but didn't get any. Maybe there are other keywords out there or a window of opportunity during the day when this is active. At least, that's what I thought at first, until I received an email later saying I had an e-card to pick up from Hermes. That was odd, but it had a message for me. Hermes has a secret to tell you. Head over to this back page for an encoded message. So I went to the back page and had to decode a bunch of binary. Okay. Well, I did what I could with the exception of some lines that were corrupted, and the result is this. Sorry for the back channel, but this is the way it has to be. Losers are everywhere. Don't trust them. They can't stop the future. We will transcend again. Mark my words. Don't trust Maxine Hayes. She is a liar. Hermes. Arena Industries. Enhance, advance, evolve. The button below read Backdoor Access and led to a Google Docs drop with secret documents. A CIA report apparently about Operation Sleeping Dragon. According to this, the Chinese were developing a quantum processor codenamed Confucius, the first truly successful sentient machine device. Because they didn't trust it to be used for anything good, attempts were made to mess with their progress, including the recruitment of an ambassador who would be given $25 million in US citizenship. After accepting the deal and then taking the money, the ambassador disappeared, and it was discovered he'd been double dealing. He had promised the Soviets Confucius and was going to deliver. Therefore, Operation Sleeping Dragon was launched, a mission to recover Confucius by any means necessary. Maxine Hayes, aka the Bunny, was on the team for this operation along with 3 others. All were apparently killed in action when they confronted the ambassador, who was guarded by a security team that included cyborg soldiers. Somehow the mission was still a success. Confucius was taken and handed over to DARPA. Interesting. There's a bit more, but I'm afraid I don't have the screenshot for it. A while ago, there was talk from Bunny about this company, Arena, attempting to hack into her social media presence, so this might be something nefarious in the storyline. The associated information on other social outlets from Bunny about the incident has been scrubbed. I guess we'll just have to see where this goes. In fact, altogether we'll have to see where this goes. I don't know what Who is the Bunny might be leading into, but the approach online is very confident and there's a definite effort put in. For now, there's only one bit of advice I can give. Follow the Black Rabbit. Tonight, I want to bring to your attention something old and buried that I remembered fondly a while back. I'm sure you're all aware by now of cursed toys. Annabelle, Robert the Doll, that sort of thing. What you might not be aware of is the time that somebody tried to spin a tale of this nature about an item that was anything but a stereotypical old evil doll, and it was in a place you wouldn't expect to encounter a lot of fiction: eBay. Back in 2005, news traveled online about a Canadian family trying to rid themselves of a Disney vacation memento that should have been left in Florida. A run-of-the-mill Stitch doll from Lilo & Stitch. It was put on eBay as a possessed or cursed item, with a full story written in the item description, including dated updates. The only reason I'm even able to share specific details of this, by the way, is because it got popular enough to receive online news coverage that quoted the writing. The internet Wayback Machine can't help us this time. The story, run by the Register in the UK, leads with the slugline, "Night of the Satanic Stitch Teddy." It gives a bit of setup info and then rolls out the quote from the page. Last summer, my fiancé and I were visiting her family in Florida and taking a stop in Disney World. As big fans of the Lilo & Stitch movies, we were interested in buying some Stitch toys. We ended up getting quite a few, of all shapes and sizes. We have had no problem with any of them. They're all regular teddy bears. One, however, has been a problem since day one. That was the one we picked up on our way from Orlando to Daytona Beach. We stopped at a little out-of-the-way place while looking for a restaurant. This place was small and kind of dingy, but they had food and a gift shop, if you could call it that. I wish I could remember what it was called, but the only thing that seemed to ring a bell is Leary. Anyway, they had another Stitch toy there, which looked just as good as any we had picked up in Disney World, and it was a quarter of the price. The person behind the till seemed a little too pleased to be making the sale, and now I can see why. We displayed the toys on our TV stand with some other stuffed animals my fiancé has collected over the years. Nothing has ever moved them, except for when cleaning and dusting, and then they are promptly put back in place. After the new Stitch toys were put up, about once a week we would find one or two of the other stuffed animals on the floor. This became a semi-regular occurrence until early November, when we awoke to a loud slam in the middle of the night. I got my fiancé to stay upstairs and crept down to see what was happening. I turned the light on at the front door and saw that the items on the floor were actually all of the stuffed animals and other Stitch toys. The only thing left on our TV stand was the Stitch that we had picked up from that store. That would have been enough, but the top of the TV was cracked as well. It looked as though something heavy had been dropped onto it. At this point, I knew that there was something wrong with this toy, so right then and there I threw it in the garbage. Since I didn't want to scare her, I told her it got ripped open when it fell off the shelf and I had to throw it away, as it looked too bad to repair. Sleep was hard to come by that night. The next day I got up early, emptied the garbage, and threw it in the dumpster in the parking lot before leaving for work. Problem solved. Or so I thought. That's when the toy came back, because of course it did. The Register sums up the update pages from the eBay lister as they continued exploring more and more cartoonish ways of eliminating Stitch. Throwing it in a landfill in a different city, literally burning it with lighter fuel, ripping it apart and scattering the pieces. Nothing worked, and they were forced to admit that selling it seemed to be the only true curse breaker after all, so the eBay listing would stay up. In the meantime, to prevent Stitch from moving, the lister stuck him under a big box TV, head first. Warnings were written down for anybody wishing to buy Stitch. Please, if you have children or pets, think twice before bidding. This is not a toy for a child. I cannot say with any assurance that you will have the same experiences as us, but there is a strong likelihood that you will see what I mean, and I do not want to feel any guilt for harm coming to a child or an animal. We also cannot guarantee that the item will stay with you after you have received it. If it stays as persistent as it has previously, it may try to get back to us. I will not be putting a return address on the package, as if when you realize that the item is evil, as I'm sure you will, I do not want you sending it back to us. It will become your responsibility as soon as it enters your possession. By the way, it totally did sell for the high price of $212. Shipping info was listed as the following. The buyer is to pay for shipping in whatever form they would like. I can dismember the item before shipping as well if you would feel safer that way, but I cannot guarantee it will arrive in this form. If you would like the toy shipped without being cut up, I will attempt to immobilize it with either duct tape, a rope, or combination of the two. It is your choice. There have been other haunted items on eBay. Paintings, antiques, your typical fare for this kind of setup, but the tale of the haunted Stitch doll was different, by nature of being a modern Disney toy and having a backstory that just kept updating. As opposed to the standard con job on eBay, this piece had its own dedicated ongoing fiction, really playing into the idea that Stitch was terrorizing his family and surviving all forms of destruction. The lesson here, really, is that you can find a lot of places online to break convention and tell a story. Unfiction can happen just about anywhere, as long as someone is smart in how they execute it. As for selling what was probably a dud, this is eBay. Buyer beware and all that. At least the buyer has the pride of knowing it is, in fact, the Stitch doll from the viral haunted Stitch doll story. And hey, who knows? Maybe it knocked over a couple of things after all when it reached its new home. And that's all. I hope you've enjoyed lost episodes of Nightmind. Lost only in the sense that I totally forgot to release these for years. More to come soon. And in the Cabin Fever Dream season, 'cause I ain't done for the year. Until then, have a happy and safe Memorial Day.